Welcome back to another inspiring episode of Growing Through It, the platform where we dive into conversations about healing, growth, and motivation, one conversation at a time. Today, I am joined by the talented Amanda Zhou, a friend of mine who is an incredible actress, a wife, and a mother. You might recognize Amanda from hit shows like The Handmaid's Tales, Netflix's Spinning Out, or Accused. And you can catch her in season 2 of the live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender. Amanda, welcome to Growing Through It.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you so much for coming on. How are you doing first and foremost? How is life treating you? How are you feeling these days?
I'm good. I actually spoke to a friend recently and I said, obviously there are some things where I'm like, oh, I'm a bit restless, but overall, I think I'm peaceful. Yeah.
For sure.
How are
Is this
you?
recording? Yes, it is. Okay. Sure. I'm doing great. Honestly, I'm doing phenomenal. And I thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to just come and sit down and have conversation with me, because you and I had a conversation on the phone the other day and we actually reconnected. Well, we've been connected, but we reconnected in person at the It Comes in Waves premiere that
Oh,
Adrian.
so good.
Yes.
So good.
Thank you,
Congrats to
man.
all you guys.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Thank you, man. Adrian did a phenomenal job in that project, but he was on this podcast already. This is this is your turn. So let's dive into it with you. So I want to start off first off, your acting career. You had a phenomenal run in your early years with getting Spinning Out, but then the show got canceled. And I want to talk to you and get your perspective, because as an actor, one of the best things for us to have is consistency. And you're like, yes, I finally got the show, but then the show got canceled. Tell me about your mindset of what it felt like from getting the show and then finding out that the show got canceled. How did that affect you?
I'm trying to think back.
This was 2020.
A little
Or
earlier than that.
2019.
Yeah,
Came out in
20.
2020.
Yeah. I was looking forward to it, obviously, and when it didn't, it was a bit like, oh, that sucks, because it would have brought in some more stability and stuff. But then I think once I went through that process, I realized there are many actors who will book something big, and even if it goes for seasons, then they'll have a period of not working or it will pick up. And so I think I'm really living by what is meant for me will be for me. And I think I was able to ground myself, but it was obviously after going through like, oh man, I wish I had something else. What's next? And da 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 da, and the whole shebang.
Right.
Yeah.
So how did you handle when it got canceled? What was your process like? Did you mourn it? Did you cry? Did you just let it go and say, okay, because I mean, I've never had that opportunity to be on a show, so I could only imagine. You think, my goodness, I'm working, and then nothing. And then it's back to what we do, the auditioning process.
I didn't cry. I definitely was upset. It was like, oh man, that's terrible news, So I've definitely felt defeated for a period of time. But I think, I can't speak for others, but from my own experience, I think my background in skating helped with that, because you fall and you get back up. You fall and you get back up. And I think that kind of built that resilience towards that. It definitely, I was able to transpose that skill that I learned from training and to be like, okay, that's okay. Let's get ourselves back up and move on to the next.
Mm-hmm. And the next ended up being one of the bigger things that came about was Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes.
What was that process like when you got it? Did you know what it was when you got that audition right away?
Yes. I had an inkling, and then, and then figuring out, talking with my agent, I did know what it was for. I wasn't sure what my character was until I was reading it, and I was like, I think this is her.
Were
And
you a
then,
fan of the original?
oh yes, I watched the anime before I became an actor. I was in high school, so to book something like this, it was surreal because I watched it before I became an actor, and I was a huge fan of the show. And when I got it, I was so, I don't know if there are enough words to describe it. I was like, "Oh my God, what is happening?"
Mm.
Um, I think it was extra special because I was such a fan before I became an actor. And so it felt a little bit like, "Oh, I'm out of my identity. What is going on?" But the grounded side of me was like, "Okay, let's calm down. It's work and it's something that you love, and how grateful I should be." And I truly was and am, um, for that process. On set, it was so warm. It was, I don't know, I just spinning out was one thing where it's like, "Oh, this is so cool. It's my first big break and I get to do something that I love." And I was
Right.
still learning things and understanding the whole dynamic and what people did and etc. But I think when it after, several gigs and then landing avatars, like, okay, I am a professional in this and I'm here to work and I love it. And it was very cool because I think on this one I was very grounded
Mm-hmm.
and grounded in approaching this project. I also got to appreciate more things and witness more things that I did not when I was on Spinning Out. So that was my process.
Honestly, I think that's so cool to be a fan of something and then getting brought into that universe or that environment of it. Like if Marvel called me tomorrow or if One Piece called me tomorrow, I would lose it. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm,
I'm definitely losing it because I've been such a fan of these things since I
mhm.
was a kid. So that's so cool for you to get put onto this amazing show. And I watched the first season and I binged it. I'm like, oh my gosh! And then when I heard and saw that you got it, I was so excited and I was so happy for you.
Thank
While
you.
you were on it, what is something that you learned about yourself as a person, not as an actor, but I mean, I guess technically I'm an actor, but as Amanda the human being, what's something that you were able to take away from that?
Oh, that is a very good question. I think I was able to, there's a lot of waiting time in between. And there's a lot of, because you go there, sometimes, some days you don't work and stuff. And I think it can be very lonely. And I think it's learning how to not let that get to you. I think, obviously I'm fine. I'm comfortable being alone and stuff, but I think it's just it can get to you because like all these people, you in the grand scheme of things, you're just part of the moving piece to tell the story. And and then you're thinking about that and you're like, "Oh, well, it's so easy to go into that spiral like, "Oh, I am not that important. I am not," and to go really negative. And I think because of the environment and etcetera and feeling alone, I think, and obviously I hung out with a few people and etcetera, but still, because you're not with your family, you're not with your, and I think it's just learning how to utilize that time, whether it's going for a walk and enjoying my own company and kind of just what I learned as Amanda was just, it was, I don't know if it's new. I think it was rediscovering how to be alone and what to do with it for me.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Because I've been learning more now to sit in silence and be by myself.
Mm.
And the things that I'm uncovering and the things that I'm hearing, I'm learning so much more about Ryan. So I could only imagine the amount of things that you have been learning about yourself just being in the silence and in the peace of it. So thank you for sharing that. Now you did mention being alone and you do have your family, you have your husband, you have your son.
Mhm.
Did they come and visit you or were you there by yourself that entire time?
Well, my husband has work. My kid has had daycare, and so whenever I could, I flew back. When I had to stay longer, so I would fly back on weekends,
Mhm.
back and forth, a few times, and it was worth it. I was very tired, uh, And it sounds very like, "Oh, how can you be so tired?" But I think when you have long hours and then you go into a flight or you take a red eye, which I had, and then going, put all your mental energy and emotion into your kid on the weekend, and then fly like under 48 hours later to come back to work the next morning. So, but you do what you got to do because I've got a new priority in my life as well, and I'm gonna make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love how you are there for your son and how that part of family is so important for you, because I find when I was younger, I used to imagine what it would be like to be an actor, and it's very different than what I actually think it is or what it ended up actually being,
Mm.
because you realize that you have to make sacrifices for certain things. And I don't have any kids, I'm not married, but I can only imagine what that toll must take on you, both mentally and physically. And the fact that you were jumping on red eyes to go, he was my son, let me go and hang out with him and spend time with my husband, and then back to work in a completely different province is a lot. It's a lot of work. And I've had conversations with other actors and asked them how they do it as well, because I'm always thinking of myself in the future, because I feel like I can learn from people like yourself and other actors who are through it. And one guy actually told me, he said that he sometimes will fly with his family. He'll be like, nope, me and my family, we all go together if it permits. At the time, he was filming a show in Vancouver, and his wife was like, no, we're not going to Vancouver. I was like, totally understandable, Vancouver, and it was during the winter, so winters in Vancouver can be brutal.
Very cold.
But your son, when we had a conversation on the phone, you had shared a very beautiful story of how you came up with the name, and your mother had passed away. How many years ago has it been now?
5 years.
5 years. Okay, before we get into the story of your son,
Mhm.
if you're open to it, please share with me the up to the kind of end days of losing your mother
Oh, we're going there.
and how you handled it, how you overcame.
Mm, it was hard, for lack of better words, very hard. Watching someone there, but already gone up here. It was my mom had her character for sure. And so in the beginning, when she would kind of go into her moods, I was like, oh, she just being, it was hard to detach from it. And I would get upset and everything.
When you say her moods, what do you mean?
Like when she would suddenly pick on something, but it would be more aggressive than before. Like, your mom's like, oh, why are you doing that? You just being a mom.
Right, being a mom,
And
yeah.
yeah. And so I thought, she was just doing that, and I wasn't sure, and I'm like, "Why is it so much?" And I would kind of like, "Oh my god, mom, stop it," like, react to it, and after I realized this really isn't I can't get through to her, this isn't her, um, and then feeling guilty about my reactions, and it kinda shifted, and I had to almost approach it in a clinical way and find things to say to bring her down. Like she needed distractions or like kind of like, oh, I'm in this. It's because she's not thinking properly anymore. And she'll be fixated on something, and you have to talk about something that excites her. Like you have to now start like psychoanalyzing her life and what are her positive triggers and to bring her to like distract her, be like, oh, yeah, that's nice, because it's almost, she had a brain tumor and she had symptoms of someone with like a mix of, I don't know if it's 100%, but like a touch of and a mix of like bipolar and Alzheimer's, that kind of erratic behavior, and all of a sudden really happy. And it's like, what's wrong, honey? And all of a sudden just angry and throwing things. Like it was just, and then when you're saying something, it's like, huh, what do you like, and then not, and kind of forgetting like Alzheimer's. So it was a tough thing to go through. Yeah. Um, through the end process, I made sure to see her as much as I could. Um, thank you. There are definitely days where I was so exhausted and I should have seen her more. And that is still some guilt that I live by. My cousin obviously flew in from China to help out. We hired 24-hour care service for her because it was just impossible to do it all on my own. I still had my work as well. Every time I saw her, I would sing to her. I would say beautiful things to her because I didn't know if it would be my last. Um, uh, so the part that sucked was, even though I had many goodbyes and every last visit, um, I my cousin called me, and when I went, she was already gone, and I think I hit emotional rock bottom after. I hated everybody. It wasn't personal. I maybe spoke to 2 of my closer friends at the time only. Everyone I thought was fake. Like, my whole world changed. They say pain changes you. People are like, people don't change, but I think pain, big things change you. And I remember even being on Handmaids, I'm like, this doesn't matter. Why am I here? You know? It was, I could have been diagnosed with depression. I don't know. But I hit an emotional rock bottom. I definitely acted out. I was not that kind of grief and trauma. I was numb, completely numb. And I think like during that time it sucked because also after, spinning out came out, I think there was also a lot of social, so I ignored a lot of people, and it wasn't because of them. It's because I didn't have the capacity to follow back or to engage or whatever. I ignored a lot of people because I couldn't. I needed to be by myself, Um, so that was, I'm still working on that, forgiving myself for not being there in our last moments. I did do my best, but that was hard. And it wasn't until I had my son who gave me a lifeline, because I really felt like that was it. Like I'm done. And after having my son, he was an extra reason for me to survive, to go through the motions, even if it was like, it wasn't even, it felt bleak and it felt meaningless. I had to keep living to give life. And when he came, it was just, it, I don't want to say not euphoric, but it was just like, there was resolve. Like, if I asked, put it in a religious manner, like if I asked the gods and asked heaven for an answer to give me relief, like it was him. And that's why I call him my guardian angel. Um, Not that I'm going to put him on a pedestal. He's going to be his own man and stuff. I'm not going to be like, oh, yeah, stay with me forever. Like his future wife, like, oh God. But for the time being, it was what I needed. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being vulnerable enough to share that with me and with the listeners, because I know what that's like to lose a parent, and I can completely empathize with that, of the change. When I lost my mom, and you can't compare loss, like loss is loss. You at least still had those moments to talk with her and sing to her and stuff. For me, it was so abrupt. It literally was good night, no good morning.
I'm sorry.
you know. And sometimes, like, hearing that, I'm a little envious that you got that little bit of time to talk to her, to see her. But we all, when those things happen, we all grieve in our own way. And I became consumed with work. I became consumed with work. I became consumed with talking just to girls and to women. I was always like partying. I didn't allow myself time to process. And then when I did, it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I'm still dealing with it to this day. I'm a little better than I was when it happened, but I am so much better than I was 3 years ago, 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Um, you said that you're still dealing with it, but what were some of the things that you allowed yourself to process through the healing? How did you push through?
I think guilt and grief, because around that time I don't know, even by acting out and doing stupid things, I think like karma gets you.
Mm.
Karma really does get you, and you have to face it at some point.
100%. Yeah.
You know,
That's real.
my body reacted in certain ways, right? I had many panic attacks. I never used to have panic attacks. I couldn't. It was tough. There were symptoms showing up on my body, and I was like, I need to work through this, and because I'm losing myself, right? I think at some point I can't give you a step by step process, but I think at some point you just have to deal. And I think it comes to show how strong we are, right? And the internal strength that we have to it is a test of our internal strength, is what I'm trying to say. And I don't know, there was just how I dealt with I just had to. I couldn't even tell you how.
You just pushed
One
through.
day at a time. I knew I couldn't work from inside out, so I had to work from outside in, whether it's talking to somebody or like going to the doctor, seeing treatment for like I had some like weird thing going on my foot. Like let's look at it from a clinical perspective. If I need to take whether it's some medicine or Chinese medicine or whether it's a spiritual person, like whatever it is from outside to get myself to get over that hump, because I truly believe that emotions also cause sickness.
100%. Yeah.
So if I can make that stronger, I can start at least pumping more life to the inside. And even if I'm not going to be 100% like I used to be, I cannot be shriveling away, So I think just trying to take the emotion out after I went through a lot of the emotions, because it wasn't sustainable. And I had to just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look at you now. You're still here.
I
You're still
mean-
pushing through. I find when you're going through the storm, when you're in it, it's hard to see the end of it. It's hard to see the end of the road, the finish line, because we're going through it. But every single one of us have experienced some kind of pain, heartbreak, loss, hurt, sickness. You think about when you get a cold. Okay. And you can kind of count the days when it's from when it starts to when it ends, but ultimately there's an end. And I'm glad that you were able to find a way to work through it. And you might always have that lingering pain or resentment towards yourself, but it's the healing process of reminding yourself that I'm still alive and I can do better today and the day after and the day after you. And you just keep pushing forward, one foot in front of the other. So I want to just commend you for that. And it's not easy for those that haven't lost a parent, especially your mom.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. That one, just to kind of touch on it a little bit, but I suffer from anxiety. I never had anxiety before in my life, ever. And then all of a sudden I'd be in the shower, and people don't know, but I found my mom in the bathtub. She wasn't in the shower, but she was on the toilet, and I think she had a heart attack and then had fallen into the bathtub. So now anytime I'd be in the shower, I noticed my heart started beating really fast. My body started to get tight. And I'm like, what's going on? And I would, why do I feel like this? And then I would talk to people and they're like, oh, that's anxiety. And I'm like, what? That I don't get anxious. They're like, that's anxiety. And I did a lot of internal work and I realized that I had the fear. I had not the fear, but I had the understanding of knowing that one day I'm gonna die. And we like know we're gonna die, but when you're faced with it so closely and personally, it really changes your perspective on life. And I don't know if that would happen to you, but that definitely happened to me.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I had that, but also I think and I had to work through it. The whole it wasn't personal, but me just hating the world and
Mm-hmm.
everything. Um, I had to work through that to realize what really matters. And I think I shed that naivety in acting. Where like, this is my whole world. Like I need to be amazing at it.
Yeah.
I need to be seen for everything I do. And it's like, of course, every actor who says they don't want to be seen is a huge lie. We do want to be seen because of the effort that we put in and everything. But I think it just was a reality check for me that it's like, I think I cared less about the things that didn't matter, which made me fall in love with the work itself more.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't know if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
I have an
Yeah.
understanding for myself, but I would like to hear from your
Yeah.
perspective. What are the things that used to matter that don't matter any longer?
Whether my castmates like me or not. Obviously, I still want to be liked, right? I always approach with a neutral from a neutral.
Neutrality, yeah,
Yeah, neutrality.
yeah.
I still get a bit of anxiety because we deep down, I believe, we have our egos, but we do want to be liked. We want to be again seen by our coworkers and etc. But that's the thing. Everyone has different personalities. Everyone have different egos. And I think I just chilled out and being like, oh, I hope this person likes me. It's like, I hope that person likes me. But if they don't, they don't. I'm here to work. I got to focus on work too. They've got their own crap. I've got my own crap. And that's it. I think they just unlocked a new level of, I'm not saying I'm the most emotional, mature person in the world, but I think it just unlocked a level of emotional maturity I didn't have before in approaching that. That's one, I think. Yeah, I think I just chilled out more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big one. I
Yeah.
definitely understood I understand the chilling out more because it's the industry we're in. It's so easy to look at me, look at the great things I'm doing. I want to be loved and liked by everybody. I care, but I don't care.
Yeah, there's just a groundedness to it. I think we all we all want connection.
Yeah.
Deep down. It comes out in weird ways because of our different personalities and egos, and it gets misinterpreted sometimes, and there's clashing. But I think deep down, it's that we want connection. We want to be liked, and that's human. That's normal. But I think it's just the groundedness in like my focus. If I do make a great friend from this, great. If we all get along and it's all positive, amazing. But I'm here to work. I'm not going to get involved in any drama. I'm not going to, I'm going to be myself. And if people don't like it, that too,
Yeah.
right? Because sometimes the way you act rub people off. It's just canceling out some of the noise. Getting better at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
Seems
I'm
like you're
trying.
doing great.
I'm trying.
We're all just trying out here.
I'm sure it's like I look composed on the outside, but inside I'm like, holy fuck, holy crap. I'm sure there's still that little Amanda anxiety coming up.
Of course, definitely. Now let's go towards your son because when we spoke on the phone a few days ago, that story you shared of naming him, I thought was one of the most beautiful things ever. Please share that with me.
I will not say his first name, but so when my mother wasn't all there, one of the things that calmed her down because she really wanted grandchildren, and my older sister doesn't have any kids, so she kind of put all her hope on me. But I wasn't ready yet, but I knew that was something that could appease her. And so when she went into one of her episodes, let's call it, I would say, "Oh, mom, I'm thinking about having kids soon," because I always knew I wanted to have kids. And I would ask her like, "Oh, my Chinese isn't that good. Like, can you tell me a Chinese name for a boy and a girl?" And she gave me those names. And the caretaker is also Chinese. And I remember fast forward today, and I had my son. I was like, "Oh," I asked her, I'm like, "What was it again?" And she wrote in Chinese, which I can't read. And I asked my cousin. I texted to my cousin, like, "Oh, he told me what it was." Um, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Fast forward a little bit. I give birth to my son. My I guess
Your
grandfather.
mom wasn't alive when your son was born, right?
No,
Right.
no. So I had to like ask around.
Right.
And thank God that caretaker was there to hear it because she was witnessing everything.
Right.
And so fast forward, so after a couple days, sorry, I'm losing the timeline. So I give birth. My grandfather-in-law passed while I was pregnant. So I gave birth. My father-in-law asked if we could name him his father's name, and I said, "Well, I already picked a name." And, my husband and I discussed and if we could use it as his middle name, and I said, "Yes, for sure." Um, and his name means victory, essentially. And when I recalled the Chinese name and asked the caretaker and my cousin to translate, and I asked him what it meant victory.
Mm.
It was just way too coincidental. It's like she knew when she
Mhm.
was almost gone.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was mind-blowing. I wanna say you can write this stuff, but you can't make this stuff up,
Right.
is what I
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, 100%. It's so it's so aligned.
Mhm.
And when you told me the story, I got goosebumps. There are whatever your religious background is, and this goes for like anybody, whatever
Mhm.
your religious background is, your faith background, whatever it is, I feel as humans that are alive, part of the mortal plane, we look for signs. And I got a sign. I remember I had taken my family out to dinner,
Mm.
and because of the way the tables were set up, we had to sit at two separate tables. So it was my sister with her two younger children, and then it was me with the older kids. So we had split up, and there were 7 of us total. It was 3, 4. And when the bill came, and we had all ordered very different things. When the bills had come, and I took care of the whole thing, both bills were the exact same.
Mm.
And I'm like, what are the chances of that happening? And this was very shortly after my mom had passed. And I was just like, what are the chances of that actually happening? We all ordered very different things, and the number was the exact same. And my mom was very big with like equality, symmetry. And I took that as a sign, I took that as a sign that things are things are okay, and that she's okay.
Mhm.
So the fact that you were able to see that in your beautiful son,
Mhm.
yeah, you couldn't. I don't think you could ask for a better way for peace to kind of come into your life in that regard.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to know that your mom is like looking out for you still, and she's still a part of your life. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel some kind of force. I know it sounds woo-woo, but I do feel some, like, protective aura around me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when I had my major, panic attacks or needed a sign, when I really needed it, she only appeared in my dreams 3 times, and those were the 3 times I was desperate. I really needed it.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, some people may not believe in it, but I definitely believe, and there's just this I don't know. There's something. Yeah.
That's bringing peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a couple dreams myself, of my mom, and I haven't had that many. Very small, like you probably no more than 5. And the last time I had a dream was just her being like, "I'm okay, I'm good, and I'm happy." I was like, "Oh," because my mom had a lot of diseases, and she had a lot of issues with her body. And this dream that I had, she was super healthy, she was younger, and it just brought me a sense of peace. And I was like, okay, thank God that I know she's okay. So sometimes it's hard. It's hard, and we miss them, and we want to try to understand it, but I honestly don't think we'll ever actually get an understanding. Maybe when we die, like I don't know, but
Oh, who knows? Yeah, it's strange. I've been thinking about like going on my little philosophical thinking and then coming upon some visuals. Like there was one where like you're rich, you're famous, you're poor, the most beautiful, you're ugly. In the end, we're all skeletons.
that's so real. Yo, that when I tell you I think about that all the time,
Yeah.
it is so real. That is, yeah, that's very real, because it's like you work so hard to achieve all these things to just turn to dust after. And kind of going back to what you were saying, like what matters, you know? What matters? How are you finding that's bringing you peace now in your life of understanding, like I'm just gonna float away. Like what are the things in your life now that you're putting a lot more of your energy into?
I think my home and my son, because it I'm doing things now so he has something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the only thing I see that and I could be wrong, right? I'm sure there are other ways where people find that selfless love, but I don't know. The one I know is after having a son, it's the only time where you would sacrifice everything about yourself and give it to him. Give it to him or her or them, your children. And I think a parent's love is the most selfless love. Now, I'm not saying that, all parents are like this. I know, like, some are very lucky to have very good parents and stuff, and some wish I'm not gonna touch on that at all, and I totally understand there are people like that, and I feel for them, but for my experience, I think, going through this, I didn't know I can love this much, is what I'm trying to say. How selfless this is. That it's a mother's instinct to, if we're falling, I'm grabbing you and I'm hitting my head so I can save you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That I don't know, extra strength of love, like you love so much it hurts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard that from a lot of women. Heard that from my sister.
Mm.
Were you scared in the beginning to have a kid, and then when you came into the world, did you have any of the doubts that you might mess him up? Did that? Because I've heard some parents be like, "Oh man, I might screw my kid up. I'm scared."
Definitely. I am scared, and once in a while it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said it that way. Like I'm messing up. But I think, I have some wonderful mom friends around me, and it's like reassuring me and just being like, the fact that you're thinking that and you're trying different things just shows you're not going to. And we're all going to mess up some way, you know? Um, Nobody's perfect. All you can do is try your best and, check yourself for even something simple like, oh, he's struggling with that. Let me help him. Oh, hold on. Let him work through it, but support him beside him, because then he learns confidence,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like little things. It's a bit of a mental workout, I find, as a mom, because you also have to check on what you're doing and how you're constantly. But it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be something, and all you can do is just be there give love, try to remove any generational trauma, like try to stop that. I'm sure I'll mess up somewhere else, but I think the key is when that happens, it's communication. I think a lot of the older generations, like, no, my way or the highway,
Right.
almost like people would label it as narcissistic. But it's really, I think, just communication, not being afraid to like, hey, honey, I'm sorry, I didn't know you felt that. It's like seeing your children, not seeing them as as your children, but seeing your children as their own and communicating with them, right? I think that gets lost sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
at least from what I've seen in the older generations and from some of my peers and with their parents and stories I've heard. I feel like doesn't matter different cultures, there's some like crossovers there. But
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah. So what are some of the generational traumas that you're like, "Ooh, do you want to avoid that one? Let's make sure we don't put that on him."
Well, um, I think Chinese culture like to sweep emotions under the rug. Uh, and there isn't much praise. It's always critique. And
Right.
sometimes you just um I think that's one thing I don't like. I want my son to feel safe talking to me, and didn't agree with that, but I don't blame my mother either because that's what she grew up with, you know? And I think this is where a lot of the gentle parenting is stemming from. I think as millennials and everything, it's all around that time. It's coming up, and in the newer generation. Um, I believe in firm authority when you need to, with the patience of the gentle parenting when you need to. I think there's like it can go hand in hand. Um, but most important, I think communication, right? Uh, I think it's okay for my son to feel things. I want him to feel safe to talk to me, right? But I don't want to do it so much out in the world where he gets bullied.
Right.
So it's me trying to navigate that. And that's where also my husband comes in. That's where the firm authority comes in, and it's picking when, right? When he's really down, when he really hurt himself, when he's working on something frustrated, let's talk. If he's upset because he's not getting what he wants, maybe I'll be like, honey, use your words. We don't cry about this. Well, I don't say that exactly, but basically to teach him to use his words
Mhm.
and not get upset over the small stuff. To just give him the tools so that he can protect himself later on. Because when kids are growing up, kids can be mean. And it's not their fault. It's just they're figuring it out too, right?
Right.
And I don't want him to be a target for bullying. So it's navigating that.
Right.
Yeah.
On the bullying topic,
Mm-hmm.
there was a story you had shared on your close friend because you're very private about your personal life. But there was a kid you were at the park, and a kid had kind of like pushed your son, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
In a world where, because there are so many different personality types,
Mm-hmm.
and you have your parenting style, other parents will have their parenting style.
Mm-hmm.
Some might not even have a parenting style, might not necessarily be there for their kids.
Mm-hmm.
How do you teach your son to stand up to people that try to bully him and intimidate him physically?
I've been researching some of the stuff, and I think A is do a bit of rough play with him at home. Get him to know his body. If he's being pushed around a little bit, pillow fights, daddy being rough with him, swinging him around, gently pushing him. That's one for him to learn his body. Obviously, extracurricular sports. That's another. That's like nonverbal ways to do it. Um, Another one I think is when something happens in the moment and he is reacting a certain way. It's sometimes you miss it, but sometimes when you catch it, it's great. Like something happens, you're like, oh, honey, next time you can just tell me. Or if you don't like it, just say stop. So it's just repeating yourself until he learns, or through like imaginative play through to his toys. It's like, oh, I don't want to play with you. Okay. And then where I push, it's like, stop. I don't like that. Right. Um, so it's just, I don't even know if I'm doing enough, but I think right now that's the stage I'm at, is just continuing to do that. And to not care, and also teach him that people are going to play differently and they don't have to do the same thing as you as well, right? Um, those are big ideas for a small kid, but I think they're also smarter than we think. They, even if they can't grasp the whole concept, I think they feel things. And it's just repeating and patience and guiding. And hopefully you're guiding them the right way.
It's the big hope, right?
Yeah.
No, our generation, we grew up with YouTube kind of coming in and Instagram. It's all new. It was new for us. But this generation, people like your son, social media is just part of the world. It is. And as someone that's in the entertainment industry, but also wants to keep her private life and family life separate, how do you find the balance between not oversharing and also not allowing him to be consumed by social media as well? Like, how do you find that perfect bridge for yourself as well as for him?
For him, I think he's too young right now, so I don't even know. I will find out when I get there, since I am on the platform, but I haven't really shown like he's too young for some of the stuff. So
Does he know about social media or any of that?
no,
Okay, so he's
no.
not on that. Do you let him mess with technology like iPads?
Uh, when there's long trips,
Okay.
but we have like schools are really good because they provide some apps that are really good that are educational. So we download those. He does get a bit of screen time, TV time, um, and I'm still figuring it out. Uh, or for long drives, we'll definitely use the iPad as for help. Um, so that's it for now. I don't think I introduced screen time until 2 years old. No, 1 year old. After one, I did introduce like an educational YouTube thing that teaches kids to say words and stuff, babies. That was kind of it. And then, and they're like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And then 2 years old, I started to introduce a bit of screen time again, like fun, like kids shows, but more gentle and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And then for yourself, navigating social media, kind of keeping your life private away from the eyes, the masses, but being also in the public eye.
I think just focus on the work for me. Yeah. Um, I don't know if there's some formula, but I think share what I want to share and and my social media, I'm gearing more towards just about my work. And I'll have my close friends, I'll send some stuff but the people I will see my family and see my kid. That's not back in the day there were no screens, so I'm not hooked to like sharing everything about my son on even in close friends. It's like only something that is cute or like I'm excited about. So I don't think there's a secret formula. It's just me weighing like, I want to share this or and then having a clear direction that for now in my social media, for privacy for my husband and for my personal life and my son and protection for my son, I don't need to post about it. Yeah.
I love that you found that happy medium for yourself, that you understand there's a difference between what I do and what I choose to share. It's like two completely separate worlds. This medium and this platform is specifically for this. And this is my family. This is my life. I don't need to share that because sometimes you get some people, they feel like they need to share everything. And then their child is now into social media. And there's a lot of studies that say how kids are developing like a lot of anxiety in comparison because they're being so bombarded with so much information. And sometimes even myself, I'm like, why am I feeling this or why am I feeling inadequate? And I'm like, wait, this stuff isn't real. Social media is a highlight reel. People post the good. They'll post all their wins. Nobody's really posting the deaths. Nobody's posting when they lose their job. Nobody's posting when they're completely super sick. And so when we're always being fed positive, winning images and you feel like you're going through a tough time in your life, it can definitely affect us. So the fact that you kind of keep your kid away at such an early age from social media as well as for yourself, kudos to you.
Oh,
Because I know
thank
there's a
you.
lot of parents, they're like, yeah, here. And they'll just, let
It's
technology.
hard. It's hard. It's parenting is you don't know what's going on with their lives as well. And it's as long as we're trying our best, you know. Um and for those parents as well, like maybe they're working two jobs. They've got so much going on and so much pressure at home that this is their only way, you know,
Right.
and they just haven't had the time to wind down. Like you just I don't judge them for that either, you know. It's and some people it's like maybe they have a smaller crowd or this is their community and it helps them and so sharing about their lives, it's good for them, right? So it's whatever that works for you. But thank you for saying that.
Oh,
Yeah.
if you're doing it, honestly, you're doing a phenomenal job just from the things that I've seen and the conversations we definitely had. Because I grew up in the era where my mom was working two jobs.
Mhm.
She would go in the morning and then she would go to her second job at night. And I would come home from school in grade like 2, 3, 4, and I would have to come into the house and I would have to take the key out and I would have to lock the door and I would be in the house by myself. But
Mhm.
I was raised by my TV and there was a lot of anime on, and I watched a crap load of anime,
Mhm.
and I played a lot of video games, and that kind of
Mhm.
was my life. They call us the latchkey kids because we had to take care of ourselves.
Right.
But I could only imagine if I had technology and if I was just on social media all day. Oh my, I don't know. I don't know where I would be as a person. Like I don't understand. I don't think I'd be able to understand who I am because I'd be so consumed with so many different things that I feel like I would need to be like the people I'm seeing on social media.
I think we would be very depressed all the time,
100%.
and I feel like we would always be trying to find work.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm thankful that I grew up the way I did because I also do believe it built a certain level of resilience in me and a way to kind of be with myself a lot more and use my imagination a lot more too. Because I used to draw a lot. And with watching the animes, like I became inspired to want to create my own anime. And I feel like that also helped inspire me to want to become an actor. And because I feel like everything made sense, for what it was. So, um, yeah, I'm glad that we grew up in a generation without technology because the way it's changing so much. Yesterday, I was playing Monopoly Deal. I don't know if you ever played that game.
No,
It's a
I
great
have
game.
not.
It's like one of the greatest card games I've ever played. But it was a new game that I was playing for the first time with my girlfriend, and we were trying to understand the rules. And so I'm talking to Chat GPT, and Chat is speaking back to me because I was testing it. It was my first time ever using the voice command back, and it was responding to me like a person. And I could only imagine in the future what it's going to start to look like. We know that they're working on creating robots,
Mhm.
helper robots with AI built into them. As a parent, do you see yourself ever getting an AI robot to assist you in your life?
No.
No.
I say that now. I say that now, but I'm saying no.
In this moment, she's
Yes,
saying no.
I'm
Got it.
no. um, I'm a little stubborn and I like things like old school.
Mhm.
I sound like I am getting old. I like things a certain way,
All right,
and
boomer.
and I don't when it gets too high tech, I'm like, I'm so confused. And so I don't know. I don't. But if it was like they made it dummy proof, because I'm really dumb when it comes to that kind of stuff, and as I get older, and because of my limits, I can see that as a tool to make my life easier.
Right.
But right now, my heart's like, no, that's scary. No way.
Yeah.
ChatGPT's good enough. It's like my therapist.
It was scary to me because and I put mine on a male voice, but when he was responding to me, he was like, yeah, and this and that. And I'm like, it sounds like a person. And me and my girl were looking at my phone like, this is not a person. This is artificial intelligence. This is a computer. And I mean, like, it's a tool to help us out because when the car came around, people were in an uproar. Oh, it's going to take away from the horses. But then we realized how much easier it is to get around. You just have to feed it gas. When the electricity came in, oh, no one's going to buy candles. Made life easier. And I think about it for the future because the way the world is going, we're moving so fast that when I see the way AI is moving and how it can be used as a tool to help with the family dynamic in the home. Because have you ever had your son like with a babysitter before? Like a close, right? So now here's the thing, and I think about it like this. You don't necessarily know the person, or you might know the person, but you don't know what the person could do to your child. But with this robot, you know that the programming is to always be a caretaker. That is its specific duty, to look after my child, to help in the household. So I mean, like it could be a good tool to have. It is scary because we've never had it before.
Right. I think there are limits because if you have a baby crawling and at the top of the stairs and about to fall, I don't think the reaction will be fast enough compared to live human being who's standing right there.
Sure.
I think it they would have to make some very a robot with high dexterity and reflexes, I think. And maybe in like, I don't know, God knows, like 50 years there will be someone like that or something like that, I mean. Um but I think there's too much risk for at least babies. Maybe for a 7, 8-year-old or a young teenager, an adolescent who is more independent, I could see that happening. But it's yeah, you're right. There are pros and cons because you would know everything that's happening and it could be used as a tool, but it's also quite scary.
For sure.
But I also think the pendulum swings. When it goes so one way, in life, societal, political, whatever, it like somehow goes back to the other way with some caveats, with some new upgrades. But I think I don't know. We don't know.
We don't, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself having more children? Or do you think that's it, you're done?
I would love to have another one.
Uh-huh.
If I had birth-giving hips, I would have 3, but I am not a candidate for that, but we're very lucky today that we have tools that someone like me can, right? So for that, I am grateful that I can even have one, and I hope to have 2. And it may be in the future, knows, adopt. If I make it big, maybe surrogacy, who knows? But I didn't grow up with a lot of family. I love kids. It's expensive, so I would have to be at a certain place as well if I were to have more than 2. But yeah. Do you see yourself having kids?
I do.
Yeah.
Since I was 12, which is the weirdest thing in the world as a 12-year-old, yeah, I want to have kids. But I think it's because I saw the way my mom loved me, and she loved me the way she knew how to love me. But there's also a lot of trauma I had to work through.
Right.
I'm still working through that she put onto me, and that I had to deal with her because my mom was not a communicative woman at all. She was like talking to a brick wall sometimes. We're talking about the old school generation. She was very old school in her mentality and the way she thought about life and the way she saw the world. And so I had to dismantle a lot of her beliefs, but also kept some of her systems that I know helped me grow to the man that I am and help shape me. So there's, I took the things that I viewed as good and want to be able to take the good and put them into pouring into my child. God willing, I get to have kids one day. Who knows? I mean, we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. But I like talking to parents about these type of things, especially because you are a parent. You've been a parent for as many years as you have been, and picking your brain on your beliefs and the things that you see and the way you handle certain things, and even us talking about AI because our children are going to grow up in a generation or like the younger generation of kids. Our children, like I have kids.
Little Ryan's running around. I can see that.
That's
Oh, that'd be
weird.
so cute.
Sometimes I'm like, man, me as a dad, oh God, I'm so fun. Like sometimes I'm like, I'm still a kid myself,
Your future wife will have her hands full.
God,
With all due respect.
God, yeah, no, I agree with you, man. It's just gonna be like, kid, wife, No, I'm grown. I'm about my business. But yeah, like I know for myself that I do want to have kids and I want to be there for them the best way I know how to be there for them. Because I grew up single mother, sorry, no father was in the household, and that was tough. That was tough. So I want to make sure that I am there to the best of my abilities for my kid. And yeah, like I was saying, like this AI world, these robots, am I gonna have a robot nanny? I don't know. Who knows? Amanda, thank you so much for coming on and just having a conversation with me about the things that you're going through, the life experiences that you've had, and the stuff that you're growing through and are still dealing with. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Now, I like to end every single episode with something that I call my big 3 questions.
Okay.
Question number 1 for you. If you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be and why?
Oh my God. mm. That's a tough one. Because one, I was like, oh man, I would love to fly or teleport, but basically get to one location to another in a short amount of time.
Right.
Because then I get more time to do that thing. Yeah. And then a fun one would be, I wish I could breathe underwater, so I would see the whole world underwater.
Oh yeah, that would actually be a cool one.
Yeah.
Do you dive? Are you a diver?
No, I have a bit of phobias and I'm scared, but that's why I'm saying I wish I had that. And I think if I wasn't, like, if I had a skill, like a fish, I think I'd just be like, ooh.
What's going on under here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard that down there is really peaceful. I met this guy. He was a diver, and he was telling me when he dove down, he's like, yeah, it was just me, some jellyfish, some turtles, and a bunch of
That's cool.
cool fish. And it's so quiet and peaceful, and you're just down there for an hour. Dude,
That's
sounds dope.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool power, definitely,
Yeah.
to breathe underwater. Okay, question number 2. What is one piece of advice that you would give to your younger self?
Oh, we're going there. Whew. That is a good one. I haven't thought about this one. Even if there are bad things, these are all good lessons for you.
That's deep. A little mysterious too.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. These are all lessons for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And question number 3. What is one goal that you would like to accomplish in the next 6 months?
The next 6 months. I'm I mean, I'd love to get back to working out. That would be nice. Let's put it there.
Working out.
Yeah, I like to be consistent with it. It'd be I know it's good for me and as we get older.
What kind of workouts do you do? Are you a gym girly, Pilates?
I love Pilates and yoga. And I think it's time to introduce some more weights. Yeah, for sure. For our bones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
It's a good one now.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to check on you in 6 months
Oh
and
gosh.
say, all right, have we been in the Pilates
Yeah, look
class?
at my 8-pack.
Listen, 8-packs are hard to maintain, okay? I used to be a big guy. I was like, not a big guy, but like I used to be a big person on getting the abs. I was like, if I have the abs, that's it. I'm set. And then I got abs and I was like, okay. And then the maintaining of them, I'm like, no, this is a lot of work. Nope, I'm good. It's a lot of work. Amanda, thank you so much for coming on. Please, I would love it if you could plug yourself where people can find you. Or if not, if you want to keep it quiet.
Oh, yeah, well, thanks for tuning in. You can find me on Instagram at the Amanda Zhou. 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 And that's it. Yeah.
Amanda, I appreciate you coming on, sharing your story, being open about the loss of your mother, sharing the beautiful story of your son's like the name and the connectivity of how you were able to see the signs of your mom, and just a good time, and just being a good friend and a good person, and being honest that it's not easy and you've had a lot of things to work through and you're still working through it, because there's people out here that are thinking, oh man, I might not be able to make it through this, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
Yeah. Guys, if you enjoyed this conversation, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, the only way to grow through it is to go through it.